I'm going to make some people mad about this, but I don't really care. There is abuse happening, sexual abuse and otherwise happening of to minors and to children in Quran schools and in Islamic places and places of worship. As much as we see so much happening in other places of worship, like churches and things like that, there is still a lot that is happening in the Muslim community that is not being acknowledged enough and not being talked about enough. I know people who they done Quranic classes and they had a tutor that was teaching them, and they had been essayed by that. Evil exists everywhere in every single community, and I'm speaking about this specifically because I feel like our Muslim peeps need to stop blindly trusting other Muslims and be a lot more careful with your children. In general, even if someone is family, you need to be careful about your children. And this is across every faith and every culture. You need to be careful and keep them safe. That's actually your responsibility as their parent, as their caretaker, is to keep them safe from harm. And we don't always know where harm comes from. It could come from somewhere very close or very far from you. But you do all the protective things that you can to keep yourself and your children safe and keep them away from harm. Institutions of faith are very important parts of our pillars of our community and parts of our lives, but they are also places where when someone is in that space and more vulnerable, that they can be taken advantage of, that they can be misled, that they can be put in situations where they might not understand what's going on and what is happening and whether this is okay, especially as sexual health education is lacking in the Muslim community. It is so lacking. Most of us are not taught anything about sex for like the longest time. And not just sex, it's also sexual health. It's also relationships. All of these things are a huge part of our lives, and we can't allow ourselves or our children to not have the information that they need to have these, to protect themselves from harm, and then have these things as part of their lives in a healthy and holistic way, because this is one element of many of our health and our well-being. I don't care if this makes you uncomfortable. I don't care if this makes you mad. It does exist. And I'm not saying it in any way to put the Muslim community under fire or anything like that. I'm saying it because it's true.